So today on Idiots Go Running, we have a Burger Guy. Say hello, Burger Guy.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good night.
On our show, we've got a guest who likes to run. Do they really? Do they jog around the place just for fun? That's not fun. Are they a professional athlete? Nope. Lining at the start with the elite. It don't matter. We've got a guest on our show because we asked and they didn't say no. It don't matter because our show has a guest. It does. Pretty much because we asked and they said yes.
I think that we've chatted enough that we can actually be on first name terms. Do you mind if I call you Burger?
Yeah, that's fair calling you, Ben. We're just waking up here on the west coast of the United States, and so it's early morning, but happy to be on the show with you.
Over here, it is currently lunchtime, and I'm having a nice cup of coffee, and I'm well rested, and you've just got out of bed.
Crawled out of bed about a half hour ago at 4:30 in the morning to make this fly, and yeah, like I said, happy to be here and trying to work through my first cup of coffee and shaking the cobwebs, so we'll be good.
That is pure dedication. But where do we start, I suppose? Why do people call you Burger Guy?
So I was helping out a buddy, and I was crewing for him on his first 50-miler, and he's a good friend of mine. He was previously on your show. It's Andy Becker. And he's a great dude. And he was like, hey, man, I'm going to go do this ultra marathon. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to help you out. Love to support you in your venture. And he went on ahead and he was like, well, there's not going to be a lot for you to do out there. Like, it's literally in the mountains. It was in the Cascade Range, I believe. And so it was, no cell service. There's literally nothing around. It was pretty much in the trails, and we'd see him every 13, 15 miles, something like that. And out in the boonies, no cell service. Guys were on radios communicating from aid station to aid station. And while he was running, I was like, well, would it be all right, man, if I bring up a barbecue and, do up some burgers while he's running for the next, 15 hours or whatever the timeline looked like for him. And he was like, yeah, that would be sweet. That would be fine. I don't see why not. And so it just kind of came spur of the moment, where I just was prepping burgers the night before and took a cooler of burgers in the grill and went on out to this race. And unfortunately, Andy had to pull out at mile 20. The climbs during it were just up a mountain ridge, down a mountain ridge. And it was brutal. I think he said it was something like 9,000 feet in the first handful of miles. It was just crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. The gains that he was having to put down right off the bat. And then he might have been sick too. There's other things going on that he talked to his coach about. But needless to say, I went up there with all these burgers and I was like, well, dude, I'm not going home with 40, 50 burgers. So would you mind if we hung out and chilled at the race and started cooking up burgers? And he was like, well, yeah, I guess so. He had to swallow his pride a little bit because he's still, wearing his bib and his shirt and everything. And, but he got to hang out and have a cold one and just wait until the race was kind of going through the rest of the people. And I just started cooking up burgers. And the funny part was that on the radio, the guys were like, hey, we got this guy down here. He has burgers and he wants to bring them out to one of the aid stations. And they were like, well, yeah, send Burger Guy up. Send Burger Guy. And I was like, all right. That's kind of how Burger Guy started. And then it, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yeah, Burger Guy. Here I am. And flipping burgers for either crew members or volunteers or runners themselves. And and then 3 weeks later, my buddy Andy was visiting with people and he was talking about, man, did you hear about that guy at the Tillamook Burn? Did you hear about that race? And he was like, well, yeah, I was part of it. Well, what did you hear? What happened? And he was like, well, I guess some guy showed up and just started cooking burgers for everybody. And he was like, yeah, he's like, so long story short on that was my crew guy that came up onto the hill and was cooking burgers for everybody. So I guess it's my MO now that if I crew for Andy, I just got to bring burgers. And that's how kind of Burger Guy started.
So obviously I would have a plant-based burger. But tell us about your burgers, Ryan. Tell us about, do you have different type of buns? What's your setup like? Do you wholemeal? Is it standard buns? Is it seeded buns? Do you have different types of burgers? Do you have different condiments? Do you put different sauces on it? Tell us all about your setup.
Yeah, I can't let all of them on my barbecue recipes out. Those are secrets. No, it's just a standard burger, man. It was pre-frozen patties from Costco, pickles, onions, tomatoes, lettuce, mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup. Nothing over the top, right? But just if you wanted a little extra something, you can have a little something extra. And I found out that. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, did people come back for seconds, or was one burger enough?
Yeah. Some of the crew members did. Most of the runners were like just one and done, and just like keep it easy on the gut as they're still doing their run. But yeah, so I went on ahead and just had the fixings, and it's quite funny because at the Tillamook Burn, people were like, "Oh, do you got any vegan options?" And I was like, "Vegan options?" Like, no, man, I'm a burger guy. I was like, I got some lettuce. You want some lettuce?
But I'm sure, Ryan, you had to upgrade to that vegan burger to what the people were wanting.
Right. No, and no harm to no offense from me to the people that are vegan and the options that they choose. But I just felt kind of bad, right? Because I didn't have any vegan options. I was like, no, I don't. I didn't think about this through. Like, we're up here in the middle of nowhere. Like, I just thought people would be happy to have a burger, and no, you got vegan options. And tried to accommodate where I could, right? And but I will say the next race that I did for Andy was his 100 miler, and I did go up there with like 40 black bean burgers, and it was funny because like. Maybe it was just a different crowd. Maybe it was the race. I don't know. But like 4 people wanted black bean burgers. Everybody else just wanted the straight protein. So, that was pretty funny. So whatever, I went home with some burgers that day from the black bean side. And, my wife and I, we eat through those anyways. So it's all good. But yeah, definitely try to make what I can up there for whoever needs whatever they need. And I think that's the message of Burger Guy is, whatever's going to get you off your butt and get you running again. If it's a burger, here's your burger and get moving. You still got another 40 miles to go or whatever the case may be, right?
You probably didn't think that when you started cooking burgers that you would make it all the way over to a guy in Northern Ireland. But what I want to ask you, have you been on the podcast before?
Have I ever been on a podcast? No, this is the first time, man. This has been when Andy introduced me to you. I was kind of like, no way, this is actually happening. Like, come on now, because I just thought, I just wanted to share kindness and just be like, hey, like, people are trying to obtain something that can be a once in a lifetime thing, or just something that they do on a normal basis. But like, people are out there. You get some all walks of life when you see ultra marathoners, right? Like you've done your ultras, like. You just see people out there. And like I said, I was just like, well, I got to kill 20 hours or whatever when I'm crewing for my friend. And so I'm not going to sit here and just twiddle my thumbs while I wait for him to come waddling in at mile 40 or whatever.
So, Ryan, I am over the moon. This is a world exclusive on Idiots Go Running that the Burger Guy is on a podcast. So it's your first world exclusive being on a podcast. But I suppose you've been to these races. Is there any intention of you signing up or you getting involved in any of the races as a runner and not the Burger Guy?
Yeah. So I think it was probably the Yeti 100 that Andy just completed in July. That just kind of like opened up my eyes to the opportunity to run one of these. So I was a high school runner. A little bit of my backstory is just a high school runner for cross country. Came out of high school, ran some 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and then just kind of just stayed in that distance range. Felt comfortable with it. Felt like I could just wake up and go do it at times. And then it was like, once I saw the Yeti 100, it was just like, this is a community and this is a culture and this is it's just a great walk of people, right? Like you never know who you're going to see out on the course. And I was talking to a buddy of ours, friend of a friend, while we were up at the Yeti 100, and he was like, yeah, man, like you get the opportunity to run with like professional runners and you never know who's going to show up on the day of the race. And, it's pretty cool when you see just the elites of the elites come together with Burger Guy. Yeah, and you just you get the opportunity to run the same route and the same course that these guys are, and I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, it kind of sparked my interest in something new, something fun, something to challenge myself with. And then I've been listening to your guys' podcast since hearing about your guys' show, and I loved how you guys just randomly took on a 108-mile challenge for running. And I cracked up. Some math teacher, so I cracked up at the rounding that you and your brother had with. Well, you ran 107 and I ran 108 because we round up and round.
He never lets me live that down at all. For anyone who hasn't listened to the show, you're talking about the rounding up of numbers. Just to explain that. So Andrew doesn't really do any training and he just turns up to the events super fresh. And on the 108-mile course, this run, he ran further and faster than myself. He ran 107.6 and I ran 107.21 miles. And he finished 2 places ahead of me. So, yeah, he keeps me going to this day. But yeah, you did touch on the running community. We ran with loads of people on our race, and you chat to them and everybody pulls together and all the volunteers and everybody helps each other through these courses. And that's a really interesting point that you did touch on.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I think what encouraged me too is I saw a guy out there doing the race, and I'm a big guy, right? Like I'm 6'4" and 250 to put me on the scale. And this guy had to have been like 6'8" and close to 300 pounds. And he was out there just trudging along. And I was like, man, like, good on you, buddy. And then, you get all ages and it's just people accomplishing their goals, right? And so when you set yourself up for it, when you put your mind to it, I'm a big believer in that regard. And it's cool to see people getting that finish line, so to speak, and they meet that goal.
Burger Guy, you are helping people through these events, like you're saying, because from my experience, when you're running and you're coming up the aid station, it's incredible to be coming into the heat, the warmth, the friendliness. And if I was coming into burgers, that would be plant-based burgers, that would be incredible. But you said you were inspired. Any thoughts in any events?
Yeah,
or is there anything you're going to put your name forward to?
For sure. So my buddy Andy, and I kind of get this inspiration from him. I'm turning into a new decade here next year, going into the 40s.
Yep.
So going to get the opportunity. When he turned 40, he ran a 40 miler. And I was like, dude, that's a great way to just jog into these things, or however you want to look at it. And so I'm just going to do my own 40-mile trail run race, and then go camping afterwards with a bunch of friends out in the woods. And that's how we're going to celebrate my 40th birthday, is they're going to drop me off, and then I got to run to camp, so to speak. So that's how we're going to venture into it.
I love it.
But I do have a good buddy of mine that I go to church with. He's going to come out. He signed up for running. He does this family challenge with his thing, and he's got to run a marathon during that month. And so he's going to come out and run 26 of it with me and help me get through at least some of it and pace me through. So that'll be cool. And then I think their family is going to camp with us following. Yeah, it's a birthday adventure.
Well, Rand, 40 miles for your 40th. You are in good company, because Dean Carnazes, friend of the show, his story is when he was 30, he decided to run 30 miles. So you are in good company. It is a good way to start. And he seems to be still going strong. I am going to do you 2 questions at the minute. Our previous guest, Kat, decided to ask the next guest, which is yourself, a question. And then I'm also going to follow it up with a question from my idiot brother, Andrew. And I wish you good luck, and I wish you all the best in answering these questions.
Hey, Colin and Andrew, it's Kat, a long-time listener, second-time caller. I had an absolute blast on your show and wanted to say thank you again for having me on. My question is for Ryan, the burger guy. So Ryan, I understand you flip burgers at ultra marathons. I like burgers, I hate ultra marathons. We'll agree to disagree. My question though is, instead of having a static barbecue, do you think that you could use one of those barbecues with wheels and push it like someone pushing a running pram with a kid in it along through the race, continuing to flip your burgers? Because I figure a barbecue can't be heavier than a small fat child. And then the second part of the question is, if you think you could do that, how much slower do you think you would run? In seconds per kilometre, how much do you think the wheelie barbecue would hold you back from running your best run?
I gotta say, Kat's question's pretty spot on. I'm sure you can play it for the guest. Her idea was that if Burger Guy could be using a barbecue like a stroller for a baby, right? How long could I push it for? Serve burgers along the way. So it's funny you say this, because I actually do have a barbecue with like really good wheels, right? And like they're getting pretty sophisticated now, where like they can start covering some serious ground. It would still have to be probably on a path. I don't think I could do like a true trail run ultra marathon with a Traeger, right? But man, the idea is there. That's actually not a bad idea. Would I do it? Probably not.
You probably wouldn't do it.
Probably not. That's a lot to undertake, man. That would be a lot to undertake. It might boost the podcast reviews, though, right?
Great for the podcast.
If I do venture out and put that on. Oh man,
it could be a world record. You know, running with a barbecue, serving a burger every mile. Maybe you could do it for your 40th. 40 miles, 40 burgers, 1 a mile.
Yeah. Well, the race, the trail that I will be running on will be paved the whole way. So, you know, that could slow down the initial pace time that we're looking at. Would I know how fast? Because Kat asked, she was like, how many minutes per kilometer? I'm thinking to myself, man, that would be slow going. I would be slow. Because see, here's the thing though, too, is that like, would I have to carry like extra propane bottles? Like how much propane would I have to carry? How much, like, then I got to carry the weight of the burgers too. Like my setup isn't just like, here's a burger and flip it. Like I got like 2 coolers on the side of the barbecue with the condiments. So I could just imagine like rolling down with, you know, my caravan of barbecuing supplies, I guess, as we go down the trail.
You would look like one of them dads that has octuplets on a trail, you know, this buggy with 8 seats in it. Is that what we're thinking?
Right. Something like that would probably. I do love Kat's enthusiasm though for the question, because seriously, like you push to the next thing, right? Now you're making my wheels spin in my brain. Like, is this something that could actually logistically happen? So, you know.
So Andrew also has a question. So you're the lucky guest that has 2 questions in one episode. And good luck with Andrew's question.
Picture this. You're flipping burgers at an event. Everything's going well. And then boom, out of nowhere, on the other side of the track or the trail, there's a guy. And he's not flipping burgers, but he's flipping Frankfurters. He is flipping Frankfurters, you know, the long sausages. And he's German. And he goes, come runners, try my Frankfurters. Don't go to the burger guy. Come, have a lovely Frankfurter. So what do? This guy is turned up. He's renowned in Germany as the Frankfurter guy, and he's trying to take runners away from you. Not to take your burgers, but to take the Frankfurters. Could you tell me your thought process at this very moment, and what do you do about the Frankfurter guy from Germany?
All right, the Frankfurter guy from Germany, right? Trying to steal my customers. Man, honestly, given the culture, I would, and who I am, like, I'm not one to be like throw a rage and like start throwing burgers at him, like, get your Frankfurters out of here, you crazy fool. I would probably go over and crack a beer and be like, hey man, I want to try one of my burgers. And I'll try one of your hot dogs or frankfurters. It's yeah, I think the picture Andrew paints is pretty awesome right there too. He totally paints the picture. No, I'm not.
He nails the accent.
He does, yeah. And I am not a confronter, so to speak. I would just be like, oh, this guy's stealing hot dogs. He's gonna try to steal my customers. Well, I better start throwing on double cheese then for the cheeseburgers, I guess.
Take it to the next level. Yeah, make a ham dog or something. I don't know. A Frank dog. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we could collaborate, right? So,
like you could have a Burger King and McDonald's thing going on there. What do you think?
No, that's not tolerable. When I saw your guys' video about how you had McDonald's delivered to you guys during the race, I was like, no, they needed Burger Guy out there on the course with you.
We did need Burger Guy out there. How do you get Burger Guy to your trail? Like, is there some sort of cost, or do you cover expenses, or do you just turn up if we wanted Burger Guy on our very own trail?
Yeah, I mean, it comes out of my pocket, right? Like,
yeah,
it's I don't know. I don't like saying how much money is thrown down on a burger, but the fixins are there, and it's a gift from the heart. It's truly not about the money. Because people even asked me when I was up at the Yeti 100, they're like, dude, you should have your own little QR code that we could like send you money, or can I pay you $10 for a burger? And I was like, no, man, just give me a high five and say thanks, Burger Guy. Like,
wow,
it's not about it's not about that. And I guess the first time I did it, my father-in-law, he actually works for a beef company here in the States, and we had a bunch of ground hamburger, and so that night I just started smashing hamburger patties and doing my own. And then when I went up to the Yeti 100 with Andrew, I was like, no, I'm going to Costco, the big warehouse that I can buy, bunch of burgers for pretty cheap. So yeah, but no, it's it's money spent, but it's a weekend with my guy out on the course while he's conquering 100 miles. Like that's the joy in the race. Or the,
incredible.
That's why I was there. It wasn't to be like, yeah, Burger Guy showing up for Becker. Like, no, no. Like this is my guy doing his race, and I'm just here flipping burgers because I don't know what else I'm going to do with my life for the next 27 hours while he's running. Like there's got to be something that we can do on the side.
It's incredible. And you must enjoy being involved in the ultra running scene as well. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think, like I said, whatever gets them from one aid station to the next and keeps them going. That's the true motive, right? It's people accomplishing things that people would look at normally and just go, you're out of your mind. Why would you do that? And so,
Ryan, I would love to get you back on the show when you're 40 and you finished your 40 miles, and you can tell us about how that felt and how that went, because you've been in the sidelines and now you're in the running space, so to speak.
Oh, dude, that would be... Yeah, that would be great, man. You got my contact, so please, I'll keep you posted if I get another Burger Guy opportunity in the coming year. Probably, I don't think anything's going to happen the rest of this calendar year, but moving into 2025, I'm sure Burger Guy will be showing up on a course near you.
Love it. That sounds like an advert for Burger Guy.
That's right.
Ryan, I hope I come. I'm on a trail where I get delivered burgers by Burger Guy. That would be
just be pushing right alongside you, man.
Yes, exactly. Shoveling me burgers. Did you enjoy coming on the show, Ryan?
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you and just be a part of your show. I love what you guys are doing. I think it's great that you and your brother share this bond of ultra marathons. And like you were saying, there, people come together for various reasons, but when you get to share something special, like what you and your brother did last year, that was pretty cool to hear that recap of your guys' race and what you guys accomplished. And I just want to wish you guys the best in all that you guys are doing too. I think it's great. So I have a question for you.
Oh, this is a
Being
first.
that if you don't mind me picking
Not
your
at
brain
all.
here, because you know, like when I was growing up, it was all about being like a professional athlete, like that's the dream or the big goal, right? And so with my 5th grade class, we just started talking about big goals, big, hairy, audacious goals for the acronym. And a lot of them are like, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a podcast guy, and I'm like, all right, so being that now I have a connection to a podcast. You know, what motivated you to get started with this? What inspired you to go out there? And then what do you think is 1 or 2 things that helps lift from the idea to where you're currently at with your show?
So the answer to this question, I suppose, early days, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I started running to try and stop the progression of my disease. So, or try to give myself confidence that my disease wasn't progressing. And I started running, and I actually had the idea of running the length of Ireland. That was 350 miles in 9 days, and I failed miserably. But what came out of that was loads of learnings that myself and Andrew, who was my burger guy, he was a bit inspired to run. So he watched me run and thought, he's pounding the pavement, that looks fun. So Andrew started running, and after I failed that, I was a wee bit down, a wee bit feeling sorry for myself. And Christmas, Andrew said to me, he goes, Colin, do you want to do something next year or something along those lines? By the time on New Year's, he was on his way home. I rang him on the way home, and I said, Andrew, let's do something next year. And we came up with a cunning plan to do something and record our journey. And that's where the idea started, just recording our journey running together. That then fell into the podcast and us enjoying it so much that we just kept on doing it, and we set a new challenge and kept on doing it. So what keeps you going and what sets you the big, hairy, audacious goal? We don't have a big, hairy, audacious goal. What we do is we do something we love doing with people who, I suppose, don't tell Andrew this, but we do love, and I do love spending time with them. So me and Andrew, we go out for a run. We love going out run together. The banter, the crack is amazing. And we always said if it was just myself and Andrew listening to the podcast, Ryan, that's a success to us. You know, so tell the kids that don't watch YouTube and see someone film up a swimming pool full of jelly. Like, unless you really love jelly and you really love swimming pools, then don't be doing stuff like that. Just find something that you love doing, record your journey, and if you find someone who loves doing the same thing, then get them to join you. And that's how we work. That's what takes you from an idea to something that just continues to develop and grow organically. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I love it, man. That's cool. That's cool. It's kids these days. They plug into their technology and they want to, they want to be, they aspire to be YouTubers or whatnot. And for me, it's like, I haven't made that connection to that platform, right? Like, I'm pretty relatable with all my students. But like when they say they want to be a YouTuber, I'm like, it takes more than just saying I'm going to be a YouTuber and my goal is to get 100K subscribers or whatever. And I'm like, that's a big, hairy, audacious goal, but like, what are the steps you're going to take to get there? And so to hear your insight.
And Ryan, sorry. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show and asking me questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, likewise, man. That was a fun time. Good session.
And if anybody wants to follow you or follow your journey, how would they do that?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not. It's not a big thing for me to be like the follower, but I mean, I guess if they want to like follow on Instagram. I did change my Instagram name to Burger Guy, RJS Burger Guy, I think it is. I don't even know what it is because I'm not a big social media guy. But let's stay in contact, man. I would love to be back on your show. Bring in your brother, bring in even Andy Becker. I mean, him and I could have some good banter with you guys and share a good laugh and stories that we've had with running, and we could compare stories of your run with your brother and my runs with Andy, because we've had some pretty good ones, man. So
let's make that happen. It could be some sort of special episode. I would sound amazing. So I suppose you're now Idiot Burger Guy. Is that okay?
Oh, very proud of that. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I can fit that persona all right, man. Yeah, cheers, Colin. Thanks, you guys.